Good morning, everybody. Mayor Flynn and I are here today with you again, and we have a fabulous bits of information for you, right?
Right. Good
But
morning.
you know what? Good morning. I have a friend who kind of popped into the studio this morning, and she has some fabulous news about something that's very, it's time for the holidays, and we take good care of our seniors here, right?
Yeah.
So, Robin, would you want to step inside here? Do you know the mayor?
I do not. Nice to
Okay.
meet you, Mayor.
Good to meet you.
Robin is here representing Home Instead, but why don't you tell everybody what you're here for and how we can help you?
Absolutely. Well, we're excited this year to be celebrating our 20th anniversary of Be a Santa to a Senior. And last year, we were able to positively impact over 700 seniors in the Northwest Arkansas area. So this year, we got to partner with a lot of different businesses. So what we do is we set up trees, and we have ornaments on the trees, and they're numbered. And so the locations that you can pick up ornaments would be Highlands Church, Sam's Furniture, Landers Toyota, and all of the locations of Red Kite Coffee throughout Northwest Arkansas. So we're excited that you can go there, get your senior that you want to buy for, and then turn around and take the gifts back to the Highland Church, which is phenomenal. We also are asking our fellow volunteers that like to volunteer and wrap gifts to come to the Schmeeding Center on the 17th and 18th of December from 10 to 4. And the Schmeeding Center is located on South Thompson. It's the senior center there on for the Schmeeding Center.
And that's in Springdale, right?
That's in Springdale, yes, absolutely. And we can take nominations of seniors up until the 16th of December. And then after that, the wrapping parties start. And this year, our goal is 1,000 seniors to help out this year. So we're looking forward to it. We're so excited that we get to partner with Highlands Church. And we look forward to all of the seniors getting gifts this year.
So I
Yes.
walk in, I
Yes.
go to the tree, I take
Absolutely.
an ornament, and then I buy whatever their wish is,
Is.
and I bring it back.
To the Highlands Church.
That's cool.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're so excited.
Well, we are grateful to have you here this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Anytime. And
All right.
anything we can do for our children and our seniors, or, well, anybody really.
Yes, for sure.
Especially the seniors.
Especially the seniors. We know how lonely it can be in the holidays.
Yes.
So it's good to be able to brighten someone's day by
Thank you
bringing them a gift.
so much for being here.
Thank
Okay?
you, JB.
Yeah.
Well, that
Nice to meet
sounds
you,
like a
Mayor.
great cause, doesn't
Yes,
it?
yes, it is a great cause. Actually, you know, I was telling Robin that when I first retired, I actually, very briefly, worked for Home Instead. I thought, in my ignorance, because it really was not a good step for me, that I would make a good caregiver. John, you know me, I'm not a caregiver. So, but it's a fabulous program, and it's important that especially people that are alone have some sort of care
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
special treats.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about City Council. I know you just had your work session.
Yes. Yeah, we had our work session last Monday, and our regular meeting, of course, will be 6 p.m. this Monday, the 25th. And so I thought I'd go over what some of the things are before City Council right now.
Okay.
First one is a reorganization of the Community Development Services Department. And we're taking the permit section and moving it under the fire department. That way it'll be there with the building inspectors already under the fire department, and we feel like we'll have better coordination that way. And then there'll be the Planning and Development Division, and that's headed up by Taylor Robertson, I should say. And she's been doing a great job for us. And so we're real excited about that. And, you know, it's a reorganization of one of the departments in the city, so City Council does vote on it. And that'll be coming up this Monday.
Well, and you know, if I remember correctly, that it really is a more current way to run, because we're growing like crazy, right?
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
and you're putting things together that go together.
Yeah.
And making it a little easier on everybody. So people actually moved along. A couple of people moved. Did you
Yeah.
have permit people that moved?
Yeah, we had the permit people were over on Lancashire in that little shopping center that has Table Bella, and they have moved there. They're now where City Hall is, which is at Lancashire and 71. In fact, they're right out front. They're the first people you come to when you come in.
Yeah.
So they're real excited about being there and being with other folks at City Hall. And of course, Fire Station number 1 is there, and the fire chief and whatnot are all in that location. And just in this last week, the planning and development people moved over there too. When the phase 1 was completed, then the firemen in station number 1 were able to move into their new location there. That freed up where they used to be. So temporarily, the planning and development people are going to be in there until their new area is ready. So we have a lot of moving parts going on
You
there.
sure do.
But everybody's excited about being together.
Yeah.
It's really convenient when you want to have meetings and whatnot.
Or just walk
Yeah.
down the hall. Hey, Taylor,
Yeah.
what are you thinking about?
Yeah.
I remember those days.
And for some reason, people like seeing the mayor. I don't know why that
Imagine
is, but
that.
yeah. So,
You're funny.
there's our fearless leader.
Exactly. Okay, so now we have a little bit more. It's talking about permits and the issue for septics.
Yeah, we have a proposal to have a permit required when people are doing significant repairs or replacement of their septic tank. And this is really a way, it's just a plumbing permit. It's like a subcontractor permit. It's really easy to get. This is a way for the city to keep track of what's going on, because some of these older septic systems, things are going wrong and having to be replaced and whatnot. And the problem before was the county just kept records. They didn't keep them by city, so they're all commingled.
Oh, you're serious. Oh,
And so by having this, Bella Vista will be able to keep track of what's happening, because there are a lot of older units and things going on with them. So it's a way to keep better track of what's happening with that.
and I understand the permit will be online, like the other permits. Isn't
Yeah.
that what Taylor said the other night?
It's got to be more and more people actually get their permits online, particularly the builders and the subcontractors. They're a little more hip to what's going on. They like it that way. They don't have to come in. They can go on there and get a permit really easily. And
I'm sure the staff
it's a
likes-
modern way of doing things.
I'm sure the staff likes that too.
Yeah, it makes there's so many things where using these online things makes the staff more efficient and makes everything work better. Especially now, we're having such a high volume of building and people fixing up their houses too, making changes and whatnot. And so it's tremendous the number of permits we're having. So you have to do it the most efficient way possible, right?
That's exactly right. That's
yeah.
exactly right. Okay, so speaking of septics, let's talk about that a little bit. Septic failure, what does that mean?
Yeah, we were changing the definition of septic failure because the state law and the Arkansas Department of Health had a little bit different definition than we did. We used to just say when there was water on the surface, that'd be a sign of failure. And we're amending it to say if there's a discharge into the dwelling unit, or if there's a discharge into the groundwater, that's also a septic failure. And our staff is so good about things like this. They will notice where our ordinance and the state law conflict or don't match up quite right, and then they'll come forward and say, hey, we think we need to make a change here so that we align better with the other rules that are out there, be more consistent for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I really admire our planning and development people, the way they proactively find things that are wrong and will say, hey, we could improve this if we change this wording a little bit.
Well, it kind of goes along with what we're doing with the city anyway, the big overhaul
Yeah.
for the ordinances and all of that.
Yeah.
In February, I believe, it'll be ready for a final look. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's moving along. I was going to mention that a little later
Oh,
in the
we'll-
program,
yeah.
but it is moving along.
Okay.
And
We'll do-
early next year, I think we'll be looking into it'll go, of course, as you know, before the Planning Commission and then before the city.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so Wanda needs some help.
yeah, our clerk brought up, when you become city clerk, you go to these different things with Arkansas Municipal League and learn about best practices and things like that. And our city clerk was concerned about, hey, what if I get sick or have an accident, something goes wrong? We need to be in a situation where somebody could step in and do the job temporarily. So we were amending and we've kind of been aware of this for a while, but never had taken any official action. So our attorney thought she had a good idea, and we're amending our ordinances so that she can appoint a deputy clerk, and there's 2 or 3 people actually with the city who are willing to step in if need be. So
That's a legal position,
encouraging.
so it's really important that
Yeah.
everything would come to a screeching halt if something happened.
Yeah,
right?
the city clerk has to take minutes at the meeting and kind of set up the agenda, and and with ordinances and whatnot, they interim. There's a lot of, it's a very unusual job, actually. I can't think of anything quite like it. It's very legalistic and very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's good thinking from her.
Yeah.
Like she said, though, I don't plan on anything happening. However,
Yeah.
and it could be a temporary thing, or it would run through her term.
Yeah,
Right? It
yeah,
wouldn't be a permanent thing.
Yeah,
at
it
all.
couldn't be any longer than her term.
Okay. Okay.
But normally it would probably be much shorter term than that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and then I think we've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about it, but I've heard it several times now. So you've got, I believe, 1 volunteer fireman and 1 volunteer policeman. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, and they need credit for, tell us about that.
Well, they actually, one of the, from their point of view, one of the pluses of being a volunteer is maybe you can get more credit for your pension. You formerly were a fireman, or you formerly were a policeman, and now you're working part-time for us for free. And so there was a way that we could enhance their pension benefit, and it didn't cost the city much at all. It's like $20 a month. So if, for a whole year, that's $240 if somebody's working for you for free and doing some good, and they are doing good work for us. So we thought that would be a good change to make. Right now it's $6, and this enhancement would make it go to $26, but that still seems like a good deal. $26 for a whole month.
Absolutely. That's absolutely perfect. So those 5 things that we just talked about, those will be up for vote on Monday, next Monday. Okay.
That's
As
correct.
always, come to the city council meeting or watch it on TV. We record all of that. It's important that you know what's going on. So, but it's kind of nice to look out and have a little bit of an audience out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel because you're in the spotlight, but I would think.
Oh, it is nice to have people there live,
Yeah.
And at the city council meeting, you can get up and speak for 3 minutes on any topic you like. And sometimes citizens bring things up that, we need to know and get some good feedback that way.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I tell you what, let's take a quick little break, and then we'll come back because we've got some other things that we want to share, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right, we'll be back in a second.
Since 2008, Joel's Upholstery and Fabrics in Bentonville has been your go-to destination for top-notch upholstery and fabrics. With over 25,000 yards of in-stock upholstery and home decor fabrics, vinyls, leathers, and a vast design library, we make reupholstery easy and affordable. Our expert staff is available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to assist you. We cater to both commercial and household upholstery needs. Stay updated on our latest news, sales, and projects by following us on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, we're back. Boy, that was quick. Actually, let's dig a little deeper into the construction of City Hall. I was just asking you, what's up with that tower thing? Let's talk about that.
A lot of people have noticed the construction going on and do ask questions about it. And the tower is kind of just like a little architectural, on the new section they're adding, the architects added that. And the idea is it's going to have the fire station emblem and then have a light behind it so you can see it at night and whatnot. And I think it'll be attractive when it's all finished. What they're doing, that new area they're working on, the ground level is going to be City Hall offices, and the second floor is going to be fire department offices, like the fire chief and deputy fire chief, building inspectors, things like that. And the fire chief likes that being on the second floor because that's also the floor for the daytime living.
Oh.
And he likes firemen being able to come in and talk to them if they like. He's very proactive as far as interfacing with his employees and whatnot, which I think is good.
Yes.
But the city hall will be on the first floor. So that's going to be completed, we think, the end of June. So they have quite a ways to go. They've got some walls up in the tower there, but that'll be completed the end of June. And then City Hall will be able to move into that, and that will free up the existing City Hall. They're going to fix it up for community development, planning and development, I should say. Yeah, to be in that area. And so that way, that part of the building that's closest to Lancashire, the permit people will be right there. They actually are now, but we're going to make the area a little more set up how they'd like it. So you can come right in and get your permits right there. The first people you'll see, and the planning people will be there, for builders and whatnot. A lot of times they, like to spread out the blueprints and go over the plans and whatnot. And so they'll all be right there. And they actually get a lot more visitors than City Hall does.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yes, of course they would.
Particularly lately, the building has been so active. Last few years, we were building 500 houses a year, and this year it's going to be well over 600. So it's actually been an increase despite the high interest rates. But one thing surprised me. It came up in a regional meeting the other day that in 2023 there was more single housing starts in Bella Vista than any other community in Northwest Arkansas.
Really?
Yeah, that shocked me actually. More than Bentonville, more than Centerton, more than Springdale, more than Rogers. We actually had the most single family. A lot of those places are building a lot of apartments and things like that. But, in the past, some of those other communities would have flat areas and big areas, and they'd have one big development. So it'd be a lot of houses at once. And ours is mostly one-offs, a house here, house there.
And a ravine,
Yeah.
and then some trees, and then...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So really, 500 or 600 for us is quite a bit. But, there's just so much pressure to move here. Bella Vista's become, Northwest Arkansas is popular, but Bella Vista's become so popular, and there's pressure to move here, and there's only so many existing houses for sale.
Yeah.
So people are building new ones too.
Is that more on the east side or the west side, or is it kind of spread out?
It's a little of both. It used to be more east side, but now with the freeway going around the west side, it's caused an increase out there. And so it's been pretty even. But I think over time, might even be a little more west side because there's so much, there's a lot of space there still.
Yes.
A lot of vacant lots and areas, some pretty attractive areas, really.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, June 30th. That seems like a long way off, but I guess it isn't. I guess there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it looks like they're pretty far along, but there's so much work internally and whatnot, and plumbing and electrical and that kind of thing.
Well, that was an old building to begin with, so it's not like
Yeah.
you're building it from the ground up and can
Yeah.
do whatever you need.
Yeah.
You got to make it work, right?
Right.
Okay, so we talked about the fact that the new title on Monday night after it's voted, and they wouldn't be CSD employees anymore, but we talked about them all moving
Yeah,
in.
be planning and development. Yeah. Well, I found, talking to residents and just people in the outside world, if you say fire and EMS, they know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Police, streets, city hall, everybody understands all that. When you say community development, they kind of give you a blank stare, and then you'd have to explain what that is. So hopefully with this new name, planning and development, it'll be a little more clear what we're talking about. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay, speaking of, we touched on it a little bit earlier before the break, the code reform that's going on.
Yeah. The we have the outside consultants in Tulsa working on that, and they got a lot of feedback from our folks on some of their drafts. So the last thing I heard is that they're hoping to have it at the city council in March.
Okay.
That would be the fastest it would be, because they have to go planning commission first. And, they're going to have a public meeting about it too, which I'm guessing it's going to be in January probably. But they're moving along, and it's going to be a great improvement. So, I think it'll be good for everybody and be very significant, really.
It's really going to help those of us obviously everybody, but the planners and the planning commission.
Yeah.
Because there's the old stuff that's in there that worked for a while.
Yeah.
It's going to make our job so much easier because it's almost a checklist.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to make decisions on. People don't understand that these are laws.
Yeah.
And regardless of how we feel personally, that doesn't matter. Things are voted on if it conforms to
what the rules are.
Per the rules.
Well, one of the things I like about Planning Commission, particularly Daniel Ellis, the head of the commission, is they'll see things constantly coming up for appeal, similar situations, and then they'll say, hey, it looks like there's something wrong with the code here that just constantly, so they're very good at giving feedback and saying, hey, maybe there's something we need to look at, changing this around a little bit, and so actually the Planning Commission is almost one of the first ones to notice when something's amiss, because all of a sudden they keep getting appeals on the same situation.
Exactly, exactly. And it's hard. It's really hard. Okay, so we've got something fun coming up. We've got our artist, actually it's Artist of the Quarter now, but we call it Artist.
Yeah, they still call it Artist of the Month, but they do three of them.
They do three, you're right. So
months.
when is that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be December 12 at 5 p.m., and that's at Bella Vista Country Club. Again, that's been a pretty successful location for them. So, that's always a fun thing. And, of course, this time of year starts to get pretty busy. There's a lot of Christmas parties and whatnot.
Yes.
And,
Yes. So I think we have, I'm guessing, I'm shooting from the hip here. I believe we have somebody with music, somebody with, I can't remember, but there are three really worthy artists being recognized.
I remember there's one that was a writer and poet and writer. And, one of them worked with quilts and things like that
You're
a lot.
right. Yes.
More than just quilts. I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's, but kind of, in
fabric.
That. Yeah, fabric. That's in that kind of area. Yeah.
So that's always fun, and it really honors those folks that labor away that nobody really knows about, and gives them a little bit of notoriety as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and you know what? Budgets, man.
Yeah, we're working on the 2025 budget. That's kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, but I thought I'd give people just some general information about it. Our revenue, we're looking at our revenue being about $26.5 million, and on our draft budget so far, our expenses are right there with it, maybe a little bit higher even.
Uh-oh.
So. But we have about $15 million in reserve, so we're trying to manage so we can do our capital expenditures and still, keep the city on an even keel. I guess for me personally, one of the most surprising things when I became mayor is how tough the budget is. How tough it is to, we only have so much revenue, and it's somewhat defined. It's not like you're Nike and you can say, well, we need to sell more shoes or something. Your revenue from sales tax and whatnot is pretty much going to be what it's going to be. So
weren't you a professor or something of revenue, and you taught all this, so now you get to practice.
I taught finance in graduate school, and I think teaching it might be easier than doing it.
Okay. All right.
But that's one of the challenges to me as city government is resources are finite by definition, and a lot of the arguing you hear even on the federal level or the local level is kind of about where you're going to put those resources that you do have, right?
Yes.
Everybody has a different idea about it.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
But we're having a special meeting, the city council, on December 5, we've already given them drafts and whatnot, so we're going over that. We're trying to really keep the expenses down. In fact, citywide, our total number of new hires is less than 7. So with very few people we're hiring, trying to
But you have
hold
all
the
your,
line.
but you have all your spots filled. You're not
Yeah.
missing anything great, right?
Yeah, we have had good luck as far as when we have openings lately. I've been really encouraged by the quality of applicants we're getting. It's, for a while the job market was so tight, it was hard to get certain people. And now we'll have an opening and we'll get several people that are
Qualified.
it's very encouraging, really. And
Yeah.
they're usually very enthused about it, so.
All right, so one of the other topics that everybody's kind of like, when's that going to happen? You're thinking that there will be that Blue Crane may have another public meeting?
Yeah, when they had the last one, they said, before we go ahead with our plans, we'll have a public meeting. And they recently told me they were thinking January, early January even, to kind of go over what some of the things they have in mind. I kind of like their attitude that they want the public to be on board and be happy with things and, not just jam things down our throat, so to speak.
Exactly.
But I do think that people are going to feel good about things as they progress. I've been really struck lately as how happy people are in Bella Vista. The other day on Facebook, somebody said, "Oh, we're thinking of moving here," and sometimes we see negative things online. It seems like a nice place, and boy, all the comments people made was just
30 people jump on and say, "No, wait a minute.
This
is great."
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's and that's what we're trying to do, is have a city that's people like and there's things to do, but yet it's relaxing, has woods and trees, and the environment's so important to people in Bella Vista. So we're trying to, we're going to have some growth, but try to still preserve that, all those positives that we have. So, and I feel good about some of the things that Blue Crane's thinking about, that we're still going to preserve some open space and and have a lot of that.
That's their attitude. I mean, they do that in other places. The things they do, they make it aesthetically pleasing as well as just filling the holes.
Yeah.
Before we close, I would like to bring up everybody. We have a runoff election in 2 wards on December the 3rd. So please, folks, please get out there and vote. Vote for whomever you believe is going to do the best job, but vote.
Yeah.
Because what happens with runoff elections, we just don't get the amount of voters that we need, and it could be that 20 people decide who the next council person is. So I'm just encouraging you. There's a lot of information out there about both of Ward 1 and Ward 3.
Yes.
And just please vote.
Yeah, that's a very good point. They have early voting starting on November 26th, but that's Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
Plus, early voting's just down in Bentonville.
That's right.
At the county seat administration building, and so that makes the day of the election even more important. It's Tuesday, December 3, and it is at all the polling places in Bella
5.
Vista.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll be at the Highlands, so.
Yeah.
It's across the street from me, so yes, please vote. You have no idea how important it really is.
Yeah, no matter how hard you try, it's always going to get less people than the first election, but the better the turnout, the better it is. And if you think about this year, you had a presidential election, which motivates people to turn out, and you had all the different wards and council and a bunch of different things to vote on, really. And some county offices and things like that, and now here you just have 1 or 2 council seats. So it's one of the pluses to it, aside from all those places being open to vote on the 3rd, what people don't realize is it doesn't take any time.
No.
There's only 2 things on the ballot.
Exactly.
There won't be a line, and you go in there, boom, boom, and it's probably less than 5 minutes.
And it's open from 7:30 to 7:30.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much. We will see you next time, and thanks again. And I'll see you at City Council on Monday.
Thank you.
You bet.
Really appreciate it.
Okay, take care.